and welcome back to Urban Flower Collective. My name's Lisa and I'm your host here. It's great to see you again. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, give everything a like, and you'll be first to see the new content that I put out there. So today I'm going to make something that I really love. I think they look really super cool, really contemporary. They make really great little filler flowers, but they look amazing on their own. They look great in a vase like this on a display, or they make any cake look really contemporary. So these are Chinese lanterns or Physalis. So let's get cracking. We don't need too much at all today. So today I'm going to be using my favourite ultrafine modelling paste, flower paste. Use any gum paste that you prefer. Get something that adapts well to your climate. If you're in a humid place, then have something that'll cope with your humidity. But, you know, have a play around with flower paste and gum paste and get one that you like. So I'm going to be using this today. I'm going to keep it white. I'm not going to colour it up because all the colour is going to come from the dusting. So we don't need too much at all. So I'm going to have a rolling pin here. I've got some brown florist tape. I've got some 22 gauge wire. We need quite a thick wire for this. I've got a calyx cutter, and I mean, you can have any size. This is quite a large one because I'm doing quite big buds today. But any 5-star cutter, any calyx cutter, anything with 5 points on will do. We need some kind of leaf veiner. I've just got a universal leaf veiner here. I've got a little tool just to maybe help me shape the bud at the end. I've got some egg white. You can use edible glue and a brush. And I've just got a little boning tool that I like to thin out my petals with. And then I've got an array of colours. So I've got a couple of fractal colours here, and we're just going to dust this up at the end. So you can use whatever colours you want, whatever oranges or yellows or greens, maybe, you know, if it's not quite so ripe, you know, if it's just starting to ripen, then you might want more greens and yellows. So I've got a fractal colours terracotta, fractal colours orange, and then edible art saffron, harvest sun, and a fractal colour gooseberry green. So they're the colours I'm going to use. So let's get started. So to start off with, we're going to take our 22 gauge wire. I'm just going to cut this in half because we don't need such a long length. You could actually cut it into threes if you prefer, into thirds. So we've got some wires here. And we're going to take our flower paste. We don't need too much. And we're going to make some kind of pea-sized balls to make the centre of our Chinese lantern. So I'm just going to take a small amount and roll it into a ball. So I'd say about a pea size amount, maybe just less than a centimetre diameter. So we'll do a few of these. Now you can leave these to dry overnight if you prefer, but just to make sure that they're not going to fall off, because you don't want your lantern to fall off the wire. But I've got a little trick that makes them pretty firm straight away. So I've got a chef's blowtorch here. You could use your hob, you could use a candle, anything with a flame, and we'll just turn this on, and I'm just going to heat the wire until it's red hot. So you can see that's hot. Try not to burn yourself. And I'm just going to pop it into the wire. Now this will heat up the flower paste, and that will be solid on there. It won't fall off at all. Same again. Petals. So what I'm going to do now is just roll out some white paste. As I say, you could colour this paste orange if you want, but I really like the effect of just dusting it up, because the veins that we're going to put in here picks up the dust beautifully, and it really adds extra texture to it. So I'm just going to roll this out. You don't need it super fine. You can use a pasta machine if you prefer, but I'm just going to roll it out by hand today. make these different sizes as well. I've got a large one here, I've got a smaller one here. You can you know, make them as large or as small as you like. You can have them going down the branch, larger to smaller if you prefer. So just make sure you get a really good cut. I'm going to do 2 to show you. I should have rolled out more paste, silly me. In. So we've got 2 petals cut out. I'm going to pop them in this document wallet. Now if you don't have one of these bespoke document wallets for your petals, then you can just use any document wallet. We need these between 2 bits of polythene basically, just so they don't stick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tool. You can use a cell pen or you can use a little rolling pin to do the same, but I find this little boning tool, it's used for crafts, really handy. And what I'm going to do, if you can see up from the overhead camera, is I'm just going to widen out those calyx petals just a little bit, and it also thins out the paste a little bit more, so it gives it a little bit of extra fineness. So I'm going to do that for all 5 petals. You can see it's just changing the shape a little bit. And it takes a couple of minutes, and there we've got our shapes we need. Next I'm going to bring over a leaf veiner. Now this is just a generic leaf veiner. You can use a rose leaf veiner, anything with some veins on. Unfortunately, we're going to have to do 1 strand at a time here, but it is worth it because this is where you're going to have the detail in your final bud. So we're just going to place each one on, one by one, and press down, and we want to get some nice veins into each strand of this. Now, taking one of our balls, which should be really nice and secure now. Let's move these into the middle so you can see. I'm just going to take some egg white. If you're vegan, you can use edible glue, but I like egg white. I just find I've always got it in the kitchen, so it's really handy. So I'm just going to put some edible glue on the very base of that ball. That feels really firm now, that isn't coming off anywhere. And then I'm going to hold the petal in my hand and I'm just going to pop it through like so. And then, this is a little bit of a tricky bit, hold it in my hand, I'm just going to go down each edge with the edible glue or the egg white. So just down the very edges. You don't want to get too much egg white or glue on here because the petal dust, when we come to dust up, won't stick if there's too much glue on here. So we're just going to go down and then holding it upside down. This is a little bit tricky, but you know, you might want some corn flour nearby just to, if your hands get sticky, you might want to just dip them in some corn flour or some cornstarch. We're just going to nip these edges together to make our Chinese lantern shape. This is a little bit fiddly, so just take your time. So we're going to start at the top bits first, just to make sure they nip together nicely. And then we don't want them to look too concave, so this is where I bring in this little tool. It's the only thing I really use it for. I'm just going to puff them out a little bit and then continue down a bit further. Till you get all the way down the bottom. Now when you look at these, I need a little bit more glue on here. When you look at these, they don't always absolutely stick. Sometimes they're a little bit open. So don't worry if they don't stick down completely. It makes them look a little bit more realistic. So we're just working our way down, pinching these edges together. If you need more glue, then pop a little bit more glue on. So we want these ridges, which are typical of this plant. And then when we get to the bottom, I'm just going to nip them together and give them a little bit of a twist if you want, or add a little bit more glue to the insides if you feel they're not sticking enough. So that's our first one. Now I'm going to hang it up. I've got a little boom here. I'm going to hang this up to dry. So just hang it on something to dry upside down. Our Chinese lanterns have dried. We can get them dusted up now. So they're very white at the moment, as you can see. So we're going to get lots of nice dust on here. Now I want these to be quite a deep orange colour. So I'm going to use a few different colours to get the shade I'm after. And we'll see how we go. So it's a little bit messy. I've just got some kitchen paper here just to stop making too much mess. And as I say, the colours are in the show notes below. So I think I'm going to start off with this sort of bright orange, and it is Fractal Colours orange. I'm going to pop it on here. I'll start off with this small one and see how we go. Now you can see, hopefully, that the dust is picking up in these veins really nicely. So you can see all that detailing on the veins. So it's definitely worth veining these petals before you put them together. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I like that colour, it looks pretty authentic. So yeah, I'm going to do the base in this orange. So I'm just using, you can see a big, it's a makeup brush really. So yeah, you can use paint brushes, you can use makeup brushes. I find these sort of fatter, fluffy brushes put the colour on a lot better. Now you can see here, I've gone a little bit overboard with the egg white, and that colour isn't sticking very well to that. But never fear, we're going to put a few different layers on. We're going to build up this colour and it will cover eventually. But just be careful with your glue, your edible glue. Just make sure you don't get it too much on the outsides of the petals. Right, so there's a good start for our 3 colours. Now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of green, and I'm going to do some green on the base. So I'm going to do some green just on the bases here, where the petal comes off this stem. And I'm using gooseberry green for this. And this again just gives that, makes it look a little bit more authentic, as if it's just coming into bloom. You don't need to do this on all of them if you don't want to. If you want some much more dark orange, you can do that. But I like the look this has got. And then again, I'm going to just put a little bit on the tips of one of these. Just like so. Maybe on that one too. Right, now I'm going to go in with my darker orange. I'm going to go for this darker terracotta orange, a bit more burnt orange, and I'm going to just brush that up from the base, just to give it a bit of a gradient look. Okay, so now I've got all our petals dusted up. We're going to wire them up. So what I'm going to do is take 2 pieces of 22 gauge wire, because I want these to be quite strong so I can give it some movement. And then I'm going to take some brown florist tape and tape this up so it looks like a branch basically. So if you haven't used florist tape before, give it a pull and it just sticks to itself. So I'm gonna do this. Excuse the orange fingers. This is a very messy job, as you can see. So that is all taped up nicely and brown. So what I like to do is, if you look at the ones I've done before, they kind of droop off the branch. So I like to give the branch a little bit of movement. I don't want it just straight. I'm gonna, branches never are just straight. So we'll give that a little bit of movement like so. And then I'm just gonna start with a big one, and I'm gonna tape each individual wire as well with this brown florist tape. As you can see, I've got a few big ones and a few small ones. I think it's nice to have a little bit of variety in your size. So yeah, you just use whichever calyx cutter or 5-point cutter you have available. It's just nice to have a little bit of variety in the sizes. I'm going to put this one pretty much on the end, and then I can give it a twist. Then I think I'm going to go for a smaller one next. And what I'm going to do is just take my pliers here and just give it a little bend over, like so. And I'm going to start to tape that one on. I think the stems are quite long on here. I could probably trim these stems down a little bit, but it's going to give a nice strong branch. Now you can put these on in any formation you like. I like them to kind of hang down over, as you can see. So I'm going to do the same again here. Just bend it over a little bit. And I'm going to have them all hanging down the same way. But do look on the internet for inspiration. And you go, there's our nice Chinese lantern stem. So I'm going to add this to the others I've made. And you can see it makes a really pretty contemporary little arrangement, but this would look equally amazing on the side of a cake. Just going up the side of a cake, it would look brilliant as part of a filler flower set as well. So if you've enjoyed this, please let me see what you do. Give me a thumbs up. As I say, subscribe to the channel. If you need help with your cake business, come and join us at Urban Cake Collective. And if you want to see new content, then please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye for now.